Today we're going to take a look at forced air furnaces, specifically the return air compartment on those furnaces and how to inspect that. One of the problems you run into is a return air, when the system's operated, actually is under significant negative air pressure. It's sucking air like crazy from the return air register. One of the things we don't want to have happen is we don't want to have air from the furnace enclosure being drawn into the return air system, because that creates a negative air pressure condition inside the furnace enclosure, which can actually draw combustion byproducts out of the burner assembly and then entrain or mix that with the air in the living space. That would cause a safety hazard to the occupants, because part of the process that occurs when those fumes are being drawn backwards basically through the burner assembly is you get incomplete combustion, and anytime you have incomplete combustion you create carbon monoxide, which obviously is not a good thing. So one of the couple things I do when I'm looking at furnaces like this that are in closets is, when I'm running the system, I actually hold the door open just a little bit and see if I can see feel any air movement through there across my fingers as the fan is running, because that's an indication that I've got suction. If it's really an extreme case, you'll actually see the door, when it's closed almost all the way, will actually suck itself shut. That's a sign that you've got actually a very significant return air leak in the system. The other thing that I look at is the gaps around the door to make sure that there's no dust, because dust in that area is an indication that air is being drawn from the living space into the enclosure as the fan is running on the forced air system, and that would indicate that there's a negative air pressure condition in normal operation inside the furnace enclosure. So all those things can point to the fact that you've got a negative air condition inside the enclosure, and consequently a leak in the return air compartment someplace. So let's take a quick look at the inside of this furnace. Open this up, and this will give us a chance to take a look at the furnace filter as well. In this case, I'm going to have to remove it on this one to actually check the inside of the enclosure, but when I do that, I'm not going to be able to see much. What I want to look for is all the gaps around the base of the furnace and the drywall and any other penetrations, and make sure that there's no way for air to move through there. One of the ways I'm going to do that is I'm going to use a strong flashlight and stick it inside and kind of rotate it around and look for any kind of light coming through. And in this case here, back over in that corner, right at the base of the furnace, I've actually got a void, which is going to create exactly the kind of condition that we don't want. So that actually poses a safety hazard to the occupants when the system's running, and becomes a reportable condition. So kind of a quick and dirty way to check the return air system, and that'll be the end of our lesson for this segment.